parts of it. We had a little audio interruption, but the gist of it, I think we got.
Okay. So one of the questions I actually had for you before getting into any of the background was, so right now you guys are currently filing a lawsuit for libel and slander. In the event, I'm curious actually, so there are a number of organizations on island right now that are protesting certain aspects of the church, like CCOG and LFM, and they are in support of defrocking Apuron. So in the case, or in the eventuality that the statute of limitations against sex abuse crimes is extended, are you intending on pursuing other legal action beyond the libel and slander lawsuit?
Absolutely. I'm just looking to face Apuron, in the court of law. Just simply asking why, and to answer other questions, that not only I but two other individuals here,
Yes. So actually, that's the whole point. At first, when I first came forward, that was not my intent. I just wanted Apuron to acknowledge me, acknowledge what he did, apologize, and even step down, because I just felt that there were other victims. If we three were victims back then, it was my opinion that there could possibly be other victims, and I want him to continue to be the Archbishop and be in a position to influence other minors as well. And so yes, to your question regarding the bill, statutes of limitations, yes, because when I first came forward in Apuron, rather than acknowledge me, he did the opposite. He called me a liar, along with other members of the clergy. And so now I have to defend my honor. And it so happened that the statutes of limitations, the opportunity to lift the statutes of limitations presents itself. Yes, I'm going to take advantage of that. I'm going to use it if I can.
So each of you, if you are given the opportunity to confront Apuron in a court of law, well, what exactly would you want to get out of that confrontation? What would you want to say?
I'm going to ask him why he did what he did to us, and why he lied when for me anyway, it took everything I had to confront him in public. Why did he lie? I fully expected Apuron actually. When I came forward, I actually expected him, as the bishop, as the leader of our faith, to come out and say, I'm sorry. If you can't expect it from him, who can you expect it from? That's my feeling. And so that's what I want to, that's really what I want to ask him, is why he did what he did to me. And he never acknowledged it, and he even lied. So that would be the main thing.
But, with me, I actually got to meet Bishop Apuron at the time. He wasn't an archbishop, he was just a regular bishop back in 2000 at Tacoma, when he came down to visit his family members. And I just happened to be invited to come out there and and meet with them. And when I was asked, would you like to come, I said, oh hell yeah, I would love to come. I will be there, because that was my opportunity to face him, to ask him, why did you do that to me? And I got to meet him in person. I asked him that. And the only thing he could say is that he was sorry for what he did. And to me, that is not an answer. That is not good enough. And before I left, after our meeting, when I left, he, like I stated before, he gave me a picture of himself, a CD, a picture of Mother Mary, and that killed me right there, And when I left, I said, someday I will meet you again. I said, this is not over. I will see you again. And coming out, when I came out, I just, back in August 2015 when I went to the Vatican and kind of circulated around, it finally got to these guys. But, you know, this statute of limitations, if the bill gets lifted, you know, it's going to give me an opportunity, just like these guys, to actually get to confront him. If it happens to go to court, that's where I want to see him. And I want him to answer to me, not only to me, but, you know, to the people of Guam. I just wanted him to be exposed to what he did to me and for who he really is.
He actually had every opportunity to speak to me, and the reason why I say that is because where I work at, it's right next to the Archdiocese, the Cathedral, and it's not like he didn't know who I was. There's no way he can forget who I am, and so for him to totally ignore me all these years, I've been here, I'm a lifelong resident here in Guam. And for him to actually just sit there, you know, at that church or in that rectory or pastoral center, knowing that there's one of his victims just, you know, working just around the corner, for him to sit there, I mean, that's criminal. You know, he can't ignore that. So for him now with the lawsuit, yes, you know, this will bring him face to face with me to come up front and explain his actions and apologize.
I don't actually have off the top of my head, but what was the who was the first one to come forward?
It was over.
Roy.
Public,
Yeah, publicly. And then what was the order that it had? It was Roy, and then
There was Roy, Miss Concepcion,
and then
and then myself.
Okay. So for Mr. Denton and Sondia, was it really like, did it help you come out publicly that Roy and the misconception came forward? Was that something that really helped you come forward yourselves publicly, or do you feel like if that hadn't happened, you would have eventually come forward publicly yourselves?
Yeah, I initially came out back in August 2015 when I wrote my statement and I sent it to Archbishop Krebs and I went straight to the Vatican. And from the Vatican, they took it seriously by assigning a bishop out of Phoenix, Arizona, Bishop Olmsted, who contacted me and interviewed me to get credibility of my statement. And he personally told me that he found my statement to be credible, reported back to the Vatican. And that's where he told me that, you know, we need more names. We need more, you know, if you can go out, if you can find more victims out there, you know, to please, you know, report it back to us. And when my statement went out, it got in touch with Roland. And from Roland, got in touch with somehow, you know, these guys actually came up with a list of altar boys from Agate. And I mean, it's a really long list. And Roy's name happened to be the one very top. And out of pure luck, not luck, but, you know, coincidence, he read my statement, and, you know, lo and behold, he didn't know that it happened to me. And, you know, when Roy read it, he said, you know, this happened to me as well. And that's when Roy decided to come out.
Well, we all talked about it, and we agreed to come forward because it's the right thing to do. You know, all this time I thought I was the only victim, likewise these two as well. And when we talked about it, we agreed to accept whatever the consequences were going to be for coming forward in public and confronting Archbishop Apuron for what he did to us. But one of the major reasons also was the fact that we were afraid that if it happened to us, it must have happened to other people as well. And coming forward would maybe provide encouragement and incentive for people to want to also finally come forward. Because if it's anything like what I went through, you know, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. you know? It's just, it's the right thing to do. And so we agreed to do it. And it just so happened that, you know, we agreed that I would go first. And even before I came forward, I knew that Walter was going to come forward, or Roland was going to come forward as well. So that's just the way we decided it was going to go. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and does doing this together, do you think that this helped you? Like this made it easier for you?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
I can imagine that this is kind of a situation where you want to like reach out to other victims and everything, but also a situation where you don't necessarily want to find other victims because it means that, you know, it would happen to other people.
Well, you know, they actually started coming after we all came out. We all have our own experiences. So I've had like 5 people come up to me and thank me and say, you know, I was molested as well. I was abused, you know, and we gave them the courage and the strength to come out and talk about it. Like us, they were keeping it in. They were holding, you know, keeping silent as well. Now,
Yeah, it's not necessarily. It doesn't necessarily have to involve the clergy.
right?
It just has to involve their experience that they were molested as a child, and that it's okay to come forward. That you don't have to remain silent. So that was our hope. That this is what would happen, and I hope that we continue to inspire people, you know, to don't remain silent, because the consensus is that the public, you know, is concerned. This is an important issue. It's a sensitive issue. It's a scary issue, you know, and it's not something that we need to hide anymore or be afraid that people are not going to believe us, or that, you know, we will be criticized. It was a different time back then. Now it's different. So it's okay to come out.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially in the place, the community here, especially where the churches play such an important role. I mean, I can imagine one of your initial fears would be that people wouldn't believe you. So was that a major concern? Like how, even after the initial event, did that persist as something that prevented you from really speaking out about it because you were worried about family, friends, community not believing you?
No, absolutely not, because you know, when I decided to come out, you know, I didn't care about the public perception. All I wanted to do was to expose the Archbishop Apuron, just to expose him for what he did to me and for who he really is, because I knew that I was not the only one. I mean, I felt that in my heart. So when I came out, it's, you know, at the very beginning, I didn't care. You know, I just wanted everyone to know. And whatever came out of that, you know, at least I stepped forward. At least I came out and, you know, did what I wanted to do in my heart. And I'm just, you know, thank God that these guys, you know, came out as well. And, you know, now we're just hoping there's more people who actually come out as well.
Pardon me, Neil. Do you expect more people to come forward? I mean, have you spoken to people that have had some problems, but they're hesitant to come forward? I mean, do you expect more? Or?
I know people. Whether or not I think they're going to come out, that's going to be up to them.
Right.
But to answer your question, I know there are people out there, people I've spoken to. So it's my hope that they come forward.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think if the statute of limitations is extended, that would maybe encourage people also to come? Because then they have real legal, I mean, because then we can actually look at prosecuting.
You know, absolutely. I think with the statute of limitations being lifted, that would actually encourage people to come out, you know. And just seeing us, and, you know, seeing us coming out like this, you know, it's going to encourage them, because, you know, as I walk around the island or different businesses I go to, people are actually coming up to me, just talking to me. And then when I actually sit down to do business, like the DMV, you know, I've met people up there that actually told me their story. And, you know, it has to do with their family members. You know, family members, friends that actually, molested them. But then, it's up to them to, they know when to come out,
Okay. I'm sorry, I had a question on the top of my head. So at today's press conference, actually, the Sabio Pontife actually said that he was making plans to actually meet with each of you at some point, and that he would actually undertake trips off island if you were not available for meeting him, or that they would actually organize for you to, come to Guam to meet with him personally. Now, if he actually extends this invitation, would you meet with him?
I personally think, on one breath, he says that he doesn't have the authority to investigate. Then why does he want to talk to us? What is his purpose then? He's the bishop, okay? He wants to talk to us, but he's saying he doesn't have any authority to investigate what's going on. So why don't we just bring in an investigator from out of state or someone that's unbiased to investigate this party, because Hantai Fund is part of the establishment that caused us this harm to begin with. So why would we? Why talk to them when it's like talking to the family of the people that hurt us?
We don't even have proof whether or not the Vatican actually received our statements. He says they forwarded to them, but we don't know if they in fact received it. When Walter and I were going to the office to turn in our statements, the doors were locked. Unfortunately for him, there was somebody who worked at the pastoral center that was outside that he handed to. With me, both doors were locked. So,
And he's welcome to talk to us, I think, as long as our attorney agrees to it, that even our attorney will be present.
But what upsets me is the fact that when we initially came out in public, had a press conference, Archbishop Han was already on the island at least when I gave my statement. He's been here for almost 2 months now, and ever since I came out, no one in the Archdiocese, under his guidance, has even reached out to me. I had the opportunity to meet with them one morning prior to me leaving, which was on June 12th. I was out there protesting with the CCOG, the Laity movement group, as well as the Silent No More. And Han actually came out to greet the protesters, and I just happened to be standing right there on the steps, about 2 feet away from him. And and I got the attention of his assistant, Father Ted. And and I reached out and I said, I would like to meet Archbishop Han. I'm one of the victims, and they turned their backs on me. And so that day, it really made me angry. The fact that I was reaching out when really the victim should be the one reaching out. So to this very day, they have not reached out. Now for Han to come on stage, today and make an announcement that he's willing to reach out and pay for our trips to come back here, or for him to come and visit us, it's like, I can't even find a word right now.
Maybe a little too late.
Exactly. Good point. Very good. So you can.
And also the fact that, we feel that it took a lawsuit to prompt them to act, because I do believe that if it wasn't for this, would he still have a press conference? Would he still make an attempt to reach out or something?
Especially because in the amended lawsuit, you name him in it,
Exactly.
Actually,
Yeah.
you know, and then he comes out the day before the upcoming, you know, Senate hearing. You know, to me, my opinion, he's kind of backpedaling, you know, kind of going back to, you know, well, you know, like you said, it's like little, you know, little too late, you know, and to me, he's covering his tracks, you know, because of the past events, you know, he hasn't stepped forward, he hasn't really said anything, you know, when it came to the victims, you know.
Basically, we don't even have any proof that the Vatican is doing anything, that they received our statement. Nothing has been provided to us, you know, it just says, other than his word. Of course, my experience of the past is that an archbishop, it's not unexpected for an archbishop to lie. And Archbishop Apuron lied, and I'm certainly not saying Archbishop Han is lying, but I just kind of want more proof, you know, I want proof that somebody is looking into this, you know, and after 2 months of coming forward, and after a year of Walter making them aware of this, nothing, absolutely nothing has transpired from any of these attempts to reach out to them and you know, to at least say, you know, we feel sorry for you, you know.
That
Sorry that
investigation
this
should have
happened.
started the minute they got his statement that last year. It should have been started.
I truly believe that this is what it took. You know, legal action is what it's taken to give these guys the reason to do something. And so we're not just going to sit back and wait for something to happen. So that's the reason we're doing it.
But yeah, I want to say this. One of the comments that Archbishop Han made on June the 12th, during the morning mass, okay, I happened to go inside to, you know, just to go to mass. I was actually going to go to mass. And when he stood up at his podium and, you know, he looked at the crowd or the people in the church and he said, you know, you got the people out there protesting, you know, to asking or telling, you know, Apuron to step down. But, you know, the thing that got me was this should die down in a couple of weeks. So when he said that, that really, I mean, made my blood boil. I mean, it really made me angry. And, you know, when he said that, I just made an about face and I walked out the front door of his church. Because that really upset me when he said, oh, this thing would just die down. But, you know, when I told the rest of the guys, I said, you know, this is not going to die down in a couple of weeks. Because we're going to be relentless. We're not going to stop fighting for this, you know, and we want something done. And, you know, here we are, you know.
Well, just out of curiosity, then, you know, you mentioned that, you know, you kind of see Archbishop Han as backpedaling now and everything. So if he does make this attempt to reach out to you, and as you go forward with the lawsuit, I mean, is there anything that you think that they could do that would encourage you guys to maybe, you know, either to settle or to just to you know, negate the lawsuit altogether? I mean, are you set on going forward with this? Is there anything that they could do that would dissuade you?
All along, we've said this in the beginning, you know, we want Apuron to acknowledge what he did to us. Apologize. You know, that was my whole purpose to begin with. You know, just acknowledge me, you know, but don't push me aside like I'm, you know, trash. You know, because what he put me through, you know, I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy.
At this point, do you feel like that's even like after the experience that you've had? I mean, even just this most recent thing with, you know, the recent events with you coming out and everything. Do you even think that that's even likelihood anymore that Apuron will actually come forward? Do you actually have, like, do you believe that it's still a possibility?
Oh, you know what?
I'm hopeful.
You're hopeful, but me, I don't think he's gonna come out. I mean, where is he right now? Where is he? Actually, no one knows where. I mean, I don't personally know where he's at.
Archbishop Swan says he doesn't know.
You know, so that right there speaks for itself. That says a lot about the Archbishop of Guam, who still holds the title. Okay, so if he is the Archbishop of Guam, where is he? You know, why isn't he out here? Why isn't he present today? Why isn't he out here giving mass in his own church? If he's the leader,
As long as he holds that title, he needs to be present here.
Absolutely.
Otherwise,
Very good
like
point.
answer the call of CCOG and the Catholics out there, just resign.
Okay, my last question for the three of you would be that even, so going back to even the beginning when the wrongs were done against you, and up to this point, do you feel that, how has your relationship with the church been affected by all of it, from the beginning to the most current, you coming out, and then the mismanagement and the ineptitude of the church to address your concerns? How has your relationship with the church and just your faith changed at all?
My faith hasn't changed, because I've been focused on the person that did this to me. It was never about the church. I know the church had nothing to do with this. I know the church didn't encourage it. I know the church, didn't ignore me. I think all along it was the person. And I'm not holding the church responsible for what Apuron did to me. Now, when I came forward and I confronted Apuron and other members of the institution accused me of lying, well, that changed now, because people who didn't even know me calling me a liar. That was absolutely offensive. And it bothered me, because these people who are influential in the community telling the people of Guam that I'm a liar. And I'm not a liar. I'm an honorable person, and I'm ready to defend my honor. And so if they didn't do that, maybe there wouldn't be this lawsuit. If they just came out and did the right thing from the get-go, we probably wouldn't be here right now. But they didn't. Instead, they stood up and defended Apuron. So it's changed now.
I still consider myself a Catholic, regardless of what happened. Because again, like Tori said, we're confronting the Archbishop and not the church. We'll always be faithful to our church.
As far as I'm concerned, my faith has not changed. I believe in the church. I believe in the church's values. And, it has nothing to do with the church. It has to do with the individual who did this to us. And, my faith is just as strong as it was when I was a 13-year-old altar boy, wanting to be a priest. So, no, my faith hasn't changed.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me.